Have you ever wondered why the harder you hold on to something, the more it seems to slip away? Perhaps you've experienced it in a relationship, a dream, an expectation, a version of yourself you desperately wanted to preserve. The more tightly you grasped it, the more anxiety appeared, the more resistance you felt, the more exhausted you became. We are taught that success comes from holding on to goals, certainty, control, and security. But there is another truth that few people discover. Much of human suffering comes not from what we lose, but from our refusal to let go. Imagine holding a handful of sand. At first, it rests comfortably in your palm, but the moment you clench your fist, the grains begin slipping through your fingers. The tighter you squeeze, the less remains. Life often behaves the same way. We try to possess moments that are meant to pass. We try to freeze people in time. We try to preserve circumstances that are already changing, and in doing so, we create the very suffering we hope to avoid. The ancient Taoists looked at nature and saw a lesson hidden in plain sight. Rivers never struggle to keep their water. Trees do not argue with autumn. The moon does not demand that the clouds move aside. Everything flows. Everything changes. Everything lets go. Only human beings insist that reality should be different from what it is. Because of this, many of us spend our lives carrying invisible burdens. Old disappointments, past mistakes, regrets we replay endlessly, resentments we refuse to release, expectations about how life should have unfolded. Each burden seems small on its own, but over time they accumulate. Like stones placed into a sack, they grow heavier and heavier until the journey itself becomes difficult. Many people believe their suffering comes from the mountain ahead. In truth, it often comes from the weight they refuse to put down. What would happen if you released one stone today? One resentment, one regret, one expectation, one fear. The path would not disappear, but it would become lighter. This is one of life's great paradoxes. Strength is not always found in holding on. Sometimes strength is found in opening your hand. A bird leaves its cage because remaining inside is no longer freedom. It cannot carry the safety of the cage and the freedom of the sky at the same time. One must be surrendered for the other to be gained. The same is true for us. Every new chapter requires the death of an old one. Every transformation requires release. Every form of growth asks us to leave something behind. Yet we hesitate, we cling. We convince ourselves that if we just hold on a little longer, certainty will return. But certainty is often an illusion. Consider a person reaching into a lake, trying to grasp the moon's reflection. No matter how hard they try, the image breaks apart beneath their fingers. The pursuit itself creates the disturbance. Meanwhile, the real moon shines peacefully above. How often do we do the same? We chase approval, status, perfection, and control, believing they will finally bring peace. We spend years pursuing reflections while overlooking what is already present. The more desperately we chase fulfillment, the more distant it appears. The Tao offers another way, a principle known as Wu Wei, often translated as effortless action. This does not mean doing nothing. It means acting without unnecessary struggle, moving with life instead of constantly fighting against it. Think of a leaf floating on a calm lake. It does not force the river to change direction. It does not argue with the current. It simply moves with what is. And somehow it arrives where it needs to be. This is not weakness, it is wisdom, because reality is stronger than our resistance to it. Eventually, there comes a moment when we stop wrestling with storms that have already passed. We stop demanding that yesterday be rewritten. We stop asking life to return to what it once was. And when we stop fighting reality, reality stops feeling like an enemy. The chains begin to fall away. What once felt like loss begins to feel like freedom. What once felt empty begins to feel spacious. What once felt uncertain begins to feel full of possibility. The strange thing about letting go is that we often fear it will leave us with less. Yet again and again it leaves us with more peace, more clarity, more presence, more life. In the end, peace is not found by possessing everything. It is found by no longer needing to possess anything at all. A mountain peak is not reached by carrying every stone you have ever collected. It is reached by setting them down, one by one, until only the essential remains. And perhaps that is the deepest lesson of all. The moment you stop trying to hold on to everything is the moment you finally discover that you were never lacking anything in the first place.